Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prairie Grown Reviews YouTube channel. We review books, games, movies, and TV shows. Today, we're here for the very first Disney Plus Marvel Cinematic Universe TV show with WandaVision, Episode 1. So boys, last time for Mandalorian, I did ask you your thoughts on Star Wars and Season 1 of The Mandalorian. But for all of you people, we're going to skip that because you can go check out our 4-part series on the MCU, which is on YouTube now. So go check that out and then come back here. So let's jump right into it. Non-spoiler thoughts. Austin?
This was great. Episode 1 was pretty good, actually. If you've watched all 23 movies, you're in for a little bit of a shock with this one. But if you've read the synopsis, you should expect it. It's a completely different vibe. It's nothing like anything we've seen. It's rated PG. So that tells you a lot, right? And it's very funny, and it's a great take on sitcoms, and it's got a very retro feel to it that I just loved, right? It's only 29 minutes. To be honest, those credits are super long, so it's more like 22, 23. Commercial, which we've heard rumors of, was also fantastic. All around, I really enjoyed this episode. Quick one, but it was a good one.
Matt?
Sweet. Well, as Austin said, the vibe, the atmosphere is complete shift because coming off of Endgame, it's like super dark, super depressing. Coming to this show, full comedy. It's great. It's wonderful. So yeah, I really liked it. It was nice to see something different, and it was funny, which isn't something you'd normally like. When you see Vision and Wanda on screen, you don't think comedy. You think going back to Endgame and how serious and depressing that was. So overall, pretty good.
Yeah, I really liked the atmosphere it created, the whole, the sitcom feel, like the 50s, the black and white. Like, if you've seen the trailers, if you've read the synopsis, you'll get a pretty good impression. Like Austin said, I thought that it was very comedic, it was very different, but I think it felt like a nice break after the high stakes that was Endgame. Like, it's a nice return to a little more chill, and like there was not really any action in this, actually no action at all, but it still kept me engaged the whole time, which I respect. And like Austin said, also, they have a really cool commercial with a fun Easter egg. So, any more non-spoiler thoughts there, boys?
Nope. That's
I'm good.
Great secondary characters. Kind of an underrated piece of this show, but the secondary characters fit the bill perfectly, and they're hilarious. Really adds to the episode as a whole.
Yeah. So we will move on to spoilers section in 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. So welcome here to the spoiler section. Now let's just jump right in with they do the Marvel credits thing, which I wasn't actually expecting, but was very happy to see. And it slowly fades to black and white, and you get to see they have all new scenes in the credits, in like the logo scene where they show the Marvel Studios logo. Like they show stuff from Endgame, and they show, so yeah, that was pretty cool. Now next, let's move right on to the intro to the show. They have a theme song. What did you guys think of that?
Oh, I mean, surprising, but welcome. I mean, it fit the whole sitcom because it's a sitcom, has to have some sort of opening theme, and I think it just fit the bill pretty well, honestly.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. It kind of gave you that vibe of what they were trying to accomplish with this episode, right? With that whole retro 50s sitcom, but not new sitcom kind of vibe. You know what I mean? And it really worked. It was one of those aspects that probably didn't benefit the episode a whole lot as a whole, but it did do a good job of sort of setting the atmosphere really early in the episode. So I thought it was a good addition and a good choice on Marvel's part.
Yeah, I think it had a pretty good tune, and I thought it had some comedic moments, like with Vision carrying her through the door, and then he drops her because he just phases through. Like, I thought that was pretty funny. So another interesting piece about this show is they filmed in front of a live studio audience, and they have a laugh track, which a lot modern shows have kind of done away with the laugh track, but it was a very big thing up until quite recently, actually. So did you guys like the laugh track? You think it added something?
Absolutely. I think it It does. Once again, it's this episode's all about atmosphere. It's all about the vibe, all about the feel of the episode, right? Because there's no action. It's just comedy, right? They got to work with what they got, and that absolutely adds that feel. Because, like you said, we haven't seen a whole lot of that in the past couple of years, in the last little bit, right? So it's a little bit of a blast to the past, to say the least.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I thought it was quite cool. Nat, did you have something to think about
I was
the
gonna say,
laugh
if you're
track?
gonna parody a like sitcom, you have to have a laugh track. It's a staple,
Oh
right?
yeah,
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 absolutely.
for
So
sure.
put it in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the very first opening scene, you see them, Wanda and Vision, looking at a calendar, and there's a heart on it, and they have no recollection what that means. I mean, in my opinion, this was the first suggestion, the first hint that maybe something's not entirely correct here, because they had no idea at all, and like they were both pretending like they knew, but
Yep.
they had no idea, and that was my first thought that maybe something was off.
Yeah,
What do
absolutely.
you guys think of that?
Absolutely. I thought it was a little bit of a funny moment to sort of took the pressure off. It sort of gave you that classic lovers quarrel right off the hop. And it was sort of funny to watch personalities bounce off each other with the whole I definitely know what we're talking about, but do you
Yeah.
type of atmosphere. And I thought that was hilarious. So
And what Austin said pretty much. Oh, it
Yeah.
was a nice opening scene. Set like the problem right off the bat,
Yeah.
and they rolled with it.
Yeah. And right after the scene, we do get to think something that we get to see something that I thought was a kind of cool hint, of course, because it'd be a little weird, but they switch Vision's face to a human face, kind of like he was sporting in Infinity War for a while.
Yep.
And I just thought that was a nice touch because, of course, in the suburbs, it'd be kind of weird to see this walking purple android. I mean, it's black and white, but still, he's still an android. So, no, I thought that was a good opening, and it moved on to a strong episode. So, speaking of one of those side characters, we are introduced to Agnes, who is the next door neighbor. She's kind of wacky. She has a husband named Ralph, who we didn't see in this episode. But no, I liked her as a character, like you said, Austin. Strong side characters. So,
Yep.
what do you guys think of Agnes?
before I steal all the information, I'm gonna let Nathaniel
Yeah.
go first.
Okay, well, I think she fit the bill to like as Seb said, like the wacky like neighbor character. Really nice that I don't know, throughout the episode she just comes in and out. Is kind of a bit crazy, which is really fun to watch. It's nice to see how different she is compared to Wanda, because Wanda's kind of like, I'm just trying to fit in here. I totally belong, and then Agnes is like, off the charts, just doing whatever she wants to do. It's pretty great.
Do we think Ralph's real? Potential
mean-
hot take. I mean, there's the potential that none of this is real, but we're just gonna pretend it is. Part of me wonders if Ralph actually exists.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, with the whole thoughts that this is a simulation, I think that Ralph doesn't exist. I think that he is just like it's like a character. There are characters in shows that you never see, and I think he's just one of those characters who's not real. Whereas I think that these other people that we might meet in this episode are real people that are somehow
Yep.
trapped here. If this is a simulation, which is my big theory as of now.
Yep.
Something's wrong with it.
Totally agree with that.
And we'll get to why more later on. Yeah, that was well said.
That was
So-
perfect.
Perfect.
Fluent
So-
English.
Yeah, I just learned English, so. So we see Vision's job. We see him just typing on, I think, a typewriter. I actually don't know. And he's just flying through things. And this is our second hint that something's not right, because Vision has no idea what his job is.
Nope.
And that was just a pretty funny exchange between him and his coworker. But yeah.
Yeah, productivity's up 300%. Productivity of what? Nobody's quite sure, but they're doing something right. And then we see Vision get really, really defensive and salty in a hurry when somebody makes a metaphor that he's like a walking, talking computer, and he's like, no, there's no way. I am a real human being.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound weird at all. And it's not the only time he slips up that things may not be quite right with him to the surrounding suburban people. but they don't really ever catch on so far. So he does a good job of playing it off, and in a way that's both funny and a little bit awkward, which adds to the comedy as well. So
Yeah, he's very awkward, but that's where his comedy comes from.
exactly.
So then we finally figure out what that heart on the calendar means. It's his boss, Mr. Hart, coming for supper in a classic sitcom scenario. What do you think when they finally revealed the setup, Nat?
Gotta say it all makes sense now because it had to make sense somewhere. I don't know why they used a heart with that because I mean it's revealed later on in the episode they never needed abbreviations, but I guess it's just set up to look the plot and everything. Mr. Hart seems like a nice guy, totally.
Wonderful human being.
Did he fire that other guy? Was it Justin? Was his name Justin?
I
forget his name.
I can't remember his name either.
Enjoy the unemployment line. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because he had a bad dinner.
Exactly. No, he's such
With
a great
5
guy.
courses, 4 quartet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just
Anyways,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was great. It was good. It was a good reveal. And then the whole miscommunication with Wanda. It's a total classic. Happens all the time in sitcoms. So it was perfect.
Yeah, we get to see her prepare for an anniversary, and we get to see her work with Agnes to look through some magazines for some ideas. The fact that married men are killing the single men in the world, or at least that's the stat she reads.
Just crossed paths a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just took the wrong numbers and put them in the wrong places. It's fine. It happens. Happens to the best of us.
Yep. And then we get the dinner. Vision brings home Mr. and Mrs. Hart, and Wanda is pretty. She's dressed for definitely some romantic action going on, and she has everything ready for a romantic meal. And then we get
one strawberry. Yes.
Yeah. We get some of that. Some comedy, some really good comedy, and then we get to see some comedy. Yeah, with her powers, which comes up, and that's pretty funny. So, what do you guys think of the whole dinner scene? Let's just open it up to the whole dinner scene.
Break the whole thing down. Well, like Nathaniel was saying, we do get information that they didn't really need abbreviations, and Wanda makes this dreadfully clear. She explains to Vision that he can move at the speed of light, and she can lift pens with her mind. But for some reason, they felt the need to squiggle in the most indecipherable shape that could mean literally 100 things. So she was very pleased with him. And then the European greeting was hilarious. And the fact that at the end of the dinner, Mrs. Hart leaves like that too. I'm leaving now. I'm just like, oh my God, I've screwed up. I would love to see that come back later on. I wouldn't be too surprised. I'm not sure if we end up seeing the Hearts again or not. I couldn't say at this point, but if we do, that'd be hilarious little Easter egg later on.
Yeah, it'd be funny if they brought that greeting. I really liked the way they probably used some old school visual effects for her powers when she's doing the cooking, because it all looks like it's being held up by wires, and like the lobster, when you see the lobster later on as the door knocker, that thing looks like it definitely is like fake. But it just, again, it fits that atmosphere of what they would have done in the 50s with a character of said powers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, what'd you think of when they're actually sitting down to eat and then an incident happens?
Yes, I love that scene. So Mr. Hart starts choking on, I guess, a piece of steak or not. I don't know if it's steak. They had breakfast for
They
supper.
had breakfast. So
I'm not sure what that.
I thought it was a hash brown, but I don't know.
Very well could
it's
have been.
black and white. Anyways, he was choking on food. He's starting to choke. Mrs. Hart's all like, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" And I was just watching that scene, and I was like, okay. So if anyone's ever choking ever again, just gotta yell "stop it" at them, and they will stop choking magically. It's just perfect. Anyways,
hope.
Yeah.
I guess the way Vision saved him was pretty cool too. Just like phasing through his body and grabbing the food. I mean, cool, but it must be like super traumatizing because some human being just stuck his hand down your throat.
It didn't seem to phase Mr. Hart though, so
I think he was passed out.
That could be too. I think at that point he could have been, and no one saw it. But that entire scene had an eerie feel, especially when they started asking, like, where are you from? Like, what's your story? And Wanda and Vision, they had no answers.
Nope.
They couldn't come up with anything. Why, where they were married, where they last lived, why don't they have kids yet? Nothing. So I felt like it had, and then when Mr. Hart was choking, the look that Wanda and Vision were giving each other, they're like, what do we do? Like, something's wrong here. And then, of course, Mrs. Hart, as Nat said, just being like, stop it, stop it, stop it, doing nothing. So it's like, there was a look of like real fear on Wanda's face, which is the first time like any emotion except happy and like kind of joyous we saw in this episode.
Yep.
Like, otherwise they were pretty like upbeat and everything's great. And
Yep.
so, no, I felt that was definitely an eerie scene for part of it.
Yep, for sure.
Yep. So let's move right on to the end. We see them sit down. They give themselves a song, which was a funny song that was just played on the radio earlier in the episode.
Yep.
And like Austin was motioning, they give themselves rings, wedding rings. And they start to watch TV. But as they watch TV, we fade out and we see that sword, which for those of you who are unaware, it is a logo that has shown up in a few different trailers and of course in the episode as well. Sword is in the comics, it is a kind of space version of SHIELD. It deals with intergalactic threats in the same way SHIELD deals with Earth threats. But it looks like here they're going to be a replacement for SHIELD. But we see that they are watching her show, which suggests that something's not right here. And then credits. What did you guys think of that when that happened?
Well, for anybody who was watching my little quarter panel over here, I was like, oh, I should draw this down as I was watching that. I wasn't as read up as you were on it, but I definitely thought it had to do something to do with replacing what we had in SHIELD in that way, shape, and form. Now, we still don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing for Wanda and Vision. I'm sure we'll find out relatively soon here, but I don't know. I'm torn as to what I think their goal is with Wanda and Vision. So,
do you think perhaps that they're the ones setting it up? What do you think, Nat? Like maybe they're the ones putting them in there, or are they trying to help them?
I mean, it can go both ways. I don't know. There's not enough information really to decipher what they want, really, right? Like, all we know so far is they're watching and they're taking notes, right? Yep. That's about it. I don't know. They could be taking notes for good, taking notes for bad. I guess only time will tell.
Only time will tell. So that is pretty much it for this week's episode. What you got? Final thoughts?
The commercial was fantastic. The Toastmaster 2000 from Stark Industries.
Yes.
Great little Easter egg thrown right in the middle of it. Love it. Super excited to see 8 more of those, hopefully. So, well.
Yeah, hopefully.
3 more for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Any more from you, Nat?
Just overall, it was fun. It was a complete shift from what normally we'd see from Marvel. So, it's fun. It was a good episode.
Yeah, I thought really solid episode. I'm excited for more. Stay tuned because a few hours after this video is released, we will have the episode 2 video releasing. So stay tuned for that one because both episodes are out today. So we will have both of those out for your viewing pleasure. So I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications on future videos, and like this video. And from everyone here at the Prairie Grown Reviews team, see you next video.